Okay, so let's analyze the solution for this problem. We want to show that the acceleration of this guy is independent on its mass m. So whatever the acceleration is, I want to make sure it is independent on m. Okay, now, so what we want to do is we want to find the net acceleration of the object. Okay, so the acceleration of the object over here. So let's say the acceleration of the bomb, and want to know the acceleration in this direction. Okay, well, first of all, which acceleration will it accelerate in? Well, it will only this way, because it's not going to go into the plane. It's not going to fly off. It's not going to accelerate upwards automatically, right? The only way, if it's without friction, it will go down that way. So we know from Newton's law that ma equals to the net force, okay, in a vector way. So there must be a net force in this direction, right? So that's what we know. Okay, so let's start with drawing the free body diagram. So first, contact force. So it's contact over here. I will have a normal force this way, and I will also have its weight going down this way. Okay, now I have two forces. This is in 2 dimensions, right? They don't lie along a straight line. So if they lie along a straight line, it's 1 dimension, it's much easier. But now it means that I need to resolve the force. I have options now. I can resolve it with x, y. So remember, when you resolve force, you need to split into x and y components, but it depends on, it's up to you if you want to choose how you want to choose your coordinates. Now, this is a natural option, right? But let me give you an alternative option. I can have the coordinates tilted this way so that x is parallel to the slope and y is perpendicular to the slope, instead of having x parallel to the ground and y perpendicular to the ground. Which option do you think is better? Ultimately, I want to find the acceleration in this direction, right? So naively, you might think this, right? For a long time, I thought that too. But then what I'm going to do is to take one of these arrows and split into components. So if I have sort of an x component, and this is exactly what I want, this seems like a more better choice. Okay, so in fact, both will give you the same answer, with that the acceleration in this direction, it will be independent of mass, but this will be the better choice. And in fact, almost every time, I can tell you right now, every time you see a slope like this, you want to orientate your systems like this. So 99% of the time at least, you want to orientate your coordinate system like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So let's first find the net force. Our strategy is first find F net and then find A. Okay, and in fact, I really, although I will find F net, but really I just care about the x component of F net of this way, right? Because I know it will only accelerate this way. It's not accelerating in the y direction, how I defined y. So essentially, I'm really just caring about the x component of this guy. Okay, so let's put our coordinates over here. So that's the x direction, that's the y direction. Let's call that theta, the inclined angle. Usually we measure it over there. Now there's a lot of lines over here. So what I like to do is I usually draw it separately out here. Okay, so I'll repeat this over here. W and M. Okay, and that's the y, that's the x, that's the y. Okay, first of all, what do you notice? You notice that n is along y, so it does not have any x components. Okay, whereas this one, I do have to resolve it. It has a little bit of y component, a little bit of x component. Okay, so I have to resolve this vector, resolve this force, right? So how do I do that? I'll draw sort of right angle lines to here. So I want to find out how many x components. So I'll use a thicker arrow like this, and how many y components. So that's the wx, that's the wy, right? Okay. It's a little bit skewed, but yeah, that looks good enough for me. So let's see. So this is theta. Where can I find the theta on here as well. Let's think about it, right? So here, remember, this is a 90 degrees, right? This is the XY coordinate, which means this is also the 90 degrees. Okay, so if this is theta, that means this angle here, let's call it phi, and phi would be 90 degrees minus theta, because the whole triangle should add up to 180 degrees. So if that is 90 degrees, this two must add up to 90 degrees, right? So if this is 30, that better be 60. If that's 10, that better be 80, right? So this is 90 degrees minus theta. Okay. Now, what I really want is I either want this angle or this angle, so that I can create sort of a tangent or sine cosine situation over here, right? So what is that, right? So this angle is really this angle over here. And the other one is that one. Which one is easier to find? Maybe this, let's see. If I extend this a little bit down, I just want to find out what the angle is, right? So if that's theta and that's 90 degrees minus theta, I realized if I draw this straight down, which that's what gravity is doing, it's pulling this straight down, then I have another 90 degrees here. This time it's 90 degrees with the ground. Okay, so can you see a triangle here with these blue angles over here and a right angle here, right? So this is another triangle, right? A right triangle. So if that's 90 minus theta, this one over here, let's call it psi, inventing more and more Greek letters, this would be, well, 90 degrees minus 90 degrees minus theta, right? So, or let's split in steps, like I always say. So, because these two, this one plus this one, must add up to 90 degrees, right? So, so this plus this must equals to 90 degrees over here. Okay, so psi over here, the psi angle over here must be 90 degrees minus phi. Okay, so now let's expand it. I want to relate this to theta. So this is 90 degrees minus theta, right? So that's what phi is. If I expand this brackets over here, what I get is I get 90 minus 90 plus theta. So it's theta. So I realize psi is actually theta. Okay. So if you do enough of these problems, you'll always realize that this is always the case. What is always the case is if I have an inclined plane like this, if this is the inclined angle, the inclined angle over here is always the same as the one over here. Okay. All right. So what can we say about this? Well, then now we can write Wy is equals to cosine of W. Sorry, W times cosine. And Wx here is really this length, which is opposite of that. So Wx is W sine theta. Okay, those are my components. So what's my F net? My F net is W plus N, right? So let's write this out. F net X component, F net Y component is equals to Wx Wy plus Nx Ny. Let's continue over here. So now we can do it line by line, but let's plug in some of the numbers first. We are really mostly interested in Fx, F net X. Oh, write out everything, right? So Wx is W cosine theta, and sorry, sine theta, and Wy is W cosine theta. And n over here only has a y component. So I only have n in the y component and no n in the x component. Okay, so what we found over here is f net x is equals to w, which is also, we also know that w equals to mg. Your textbook often just puts mg over here. I tend not to like that because if you put mg, you're basically putting the formula over here. If you put the formula over here, it's less obvious what the force is, because if some force suddenly have a very complicated formula, then you will have something, you have to write something very long over here. So let's keep everything consistent, so that everything is just a force. Obviously, there's no points deducted if you do that, but that usually keeps the logic clearer. Right, so now fx net is w sine theta plus 0, right? So this is mg sine theta. Okay, cool. All right, so we know the net force in this direction. And now also, how about, so we found the first step, right? The second step is find the acceleration. So what do we know? We know F equals to ma from Newton's second law, which means that ax, ay is equals to F net x and F net y, right? This is a scalar that gets multiplied in, which means max only depends on f net x, and right, this multiplies in may equals to f net y. Okay, all right, so let's use this. Okay, so what we have is, let me put it over here. So this is our first conclusion. And we have here max is equals to f net x. I'll repeat that, which is equals to mg sine theta. What are we trying to solve again? We're trying to solve ax. So ax is equals to, we can cancel the m's over here, g sine theta. And that's our ultimate conclusion. What do we want to know? We want to see that, does it depend on m? Does it depend on the mass of this object? And in fact, they don't, because they cancel out. Okay, all right, so that's the answer. We can do a quick sanity check. If theta is 90 degrees, so what does that mean? So we had an inclined plane like this, right? So what if the inclined angle is 90 degrees? Right? What if theta is equal to 90 degrees? Well, then the ball should just fall straight down, right? Let's see what happens, right? So if theta is 90 degrees, then acceleration, ax, so my xy, by the way, is now tilted like this, right? Xy. So ax would be g sine 90 degrees. What is sine 90 degrees? Plug that in the calculator and you'll realize it's 1. Okay, so I actually realized it would just fall with g. Is that what you expect in the positive x direction? Positive x being how I defined it, right? Because I defined x as the direction down the slope, right? If I made it 90 degrees down the slope, it's this way. Yes, that's exactly what you expect. If you made the inclined plane 90 degrees, then it's just free fall. What about if you make theta 0 degrees? Physically, what does that mean? If you make 0 degrees, it means it's flat, right? Okay, that's 0 degrees. All right, so if you put a ball here, what would you expect? Well, let's see if the math agrees with your intuition, right? So let's plug that in. Ax equals to g sine 0 degrees. All right, plug that in a calculator. What do you get? It's 0. So it means that what is my x again? My x is along the slope, right? So it means that the acceleration here is 0. Is that what you expect? Yeah, obviously, if this is flat, it's not gonna accelerate, right? What's the free body diagram? You have a weight, you have a normal force, it's gonna balance, there's no friction, nothing, it's gonna stay there. Okay, all right, so that's the resolution of it. So this really wraps up everything you need to know about forces in terms of concepts. So the next lecture we'll basically do a couple of examples to show you how these are done. You'll see more in your discussion session and all the homework. And yeah, so that wraps up it, and you'll see some physical examples about that.